got JxmyHighroller. Let's get it.
November 2nd, 1991. The Warriors are facing off against the Kings in an early season matchup. Golden State is coming into the season as one of the top teams in the West, and they're looking to make some noise early on. The Kings are trash. In fact, the Kings were so bad that by halftime, the Warriors had broken an NBA record that was sure to never be broken again.
Trash.
A 47-point lead.
Well,
by halftime.
Mike Bibby.
47 points.
Mike Bibby,
this is disgusting. It's disrespectful. These men have families too, you know. But hey, at least no other team has ever felt the humiliation and defeat that this poor Kings team felt on that November.
No, Kleba has the rebound. Burke will dribble it out. And that will do it for a very forgettable first half. The Dallas Mavericks.
Bro, the score was really, look, 77-27. Y'all got blew up by 50 by a team that ain't win. That's crazy.
Lead 77-27.
Largest deficit at halftime in the history of the NBA.
My God. How does this even happen? Down 50 points at halftime? Did the Clippers even show up? I mean, yeah, I get that Serge Ibaka gave Kawhi Leonard an elbow that would have made The Rock proud, so he ain't playing. But the Mavs don't have Porzingis either, so on paper, this seems like a pretty even matchup. But, I guess not. Paul George? Yeah, he's there. Ibaka, Pat Bev, Reggie Jackson, Zubats, Lou Will. Yup, the gang's all here. Well, I mean, they're here, but they didn't show up. Their entire starting five scored a whopping 41 points. That's not at the half, that's for the entire game. And if that's not unfortunate enough, this starting five, who combined for $240 million worth of contracts, shot 1 for 19 from 3. That's 5%. Hey, buddy, you pay me $250 million and I'll slap on a jersey so quick and shoot 5% from deep all season long. Just tell me where to sign. Now, let's take a look at the reincarnated 92 Dream Team, or the Dallas Mavericks. In total, 13 players scored and they shot 89% from the free throw line as a team. But other than that, the Mavericks didn't do anything super spectacular. Dallas played how they usually played. So this is more of a case of the Clippers just going 12 rounds with themselves, which seems to be the identity of this team and this franchise. Now, if y'all recall opening night last season, we were all jacked up in anticipation of the Battle of LA, the Clippers versus the Lakers. No one really knew how this game would play out, but it was obvious that this was going to be the NBA's new premier rivalry. Well, at least it was supposed to be. And by the end of the first game, the Clippers got the win and they had all the momentum going forward. And then 2 months later, the Clips beat the Lakers again. And boy, did things get out of hand quick. Clippers fans were ready to place an order for their 2020 championship banner. They were sure of their team's sheer dominance. Game over for the rest of the league. The Clippers are snapping necks and cashing checks. But after a turbulent season, lack of chemistry, and more load management than a garbage man, the Clippers got bounced out of the second round of the playoffs in heart-wrenching fashion.
Oh my God. Oh my God, he on X Games mode.
Their flaws were just too glaring to overcome. We've talked about this before. You can't just throw a bunch of talent on a team and expect to win a title. This is not how championships work. Shut up, Warriors fans, just stay out of this.
Yeah.
You need camaraderie, you need chemistry, leadership. You need each and every player to buy into their role and be open to adjustments at any moment. This is what some of us have been saying all along in regards to this Clippers team. Loaded with talent. They've got size and scoring and defense and all of the tangibles you need to go on a championship run. But they are strikingly lacking in the intangibles department. Also, it does...
Wind, show me where to go.
Sucks.
Doesn't help that Paul George either plays like a first-team All-NBA superstar or a nervous wreck just trying to keep his spot in the rotation. So, what do the Clippers do? They spend the offseason resting and reloading. They part ways with their head coach Doc Rivers and sign LeBron James' assistant coach from the 2016 championship run, Tyronn Lue. They sign Serge Ibaka to be their enforcer down low. They bring in sharpshooter Luke Kennard and sign Nicholas Batum. These are all good moves.
How old is
they are
Nick
now
Batum,
deeper
bro?
and more experienced than last year. And what better way to show off this new and improved roster than by handing the Lakers a giant L on opening night for the second straight season. They're looking cohesive, they've got a new coach who allows players to play to their strengths. Things are looking fantastic. Might as well get those orders ready because we're gonna need our 2021 championship banner here ASAP. Wait, I feel like I'm having deja vu. Like all of this already happened before. Like this exact same scenario played out a year ago. And that's because it did. See, the problem here isn't the Clippers or Paul George. It's that fans get way ahead of themselves before anything has even happened. More recently, over the past few years, fans have grown accustomed to overreacting to every little thing that happens. It really feels like if you don't have a knee-jerk reaction on a game-to-game basis, you're falling behind in the news cycle. Paul George hits back-to-back threes, and I'll be damned. Pandemic P turned into best shooter in the league. 5 minutes later, Paul George airballs a three, and oh wait, never mind, he's trash, knew it all along, Lakers in 4. There's no middle ground with this stuff. On opening night, the Clippers beat the Lakers just like they did last year. And just like last year, this means virtually nothing for better or for worse. In that game, PG had 33 points on 72% shooting and hit 5 threes. Everyone was ready to put the Pandemic P talk to bed. Literally one game was enough to sway people from feeling one way to feeling the complete opposite. But wait, incoming monumentally terrible performance by a Paul George-led Clippers, and all of a sudden less than a week later, and Paul George is back to being Pandemic P. Why? How does a player's legacy and ability get dwindled down to good and bad performances on a game-to-game basis? Let's be honest, whether Paul George gets 35 and 5 in a win on great efficiency or 10 points in a terrible loss, neither of these performances changes his talent and ability as a player. Paul George is an NBA star, and even the best players have bad games. For example, here's a stat line one NBA star put up in a game last week. Some fans would even consider this player a superstar. Any guesses on who this player is? Yeah. 2 points on 0% shooting in 27 minutes of action. And this game came fresh off of a 4-point performance just 5 days earlier. Could you even imagine the absolute riot people would be having if Paul George put up these numbers? But this has become a staple of Paul George and Clippers basketball. The NBA's metaphorical, and sometimes literal, punching bag. So where do the Clippers go from here? Well, for starters, they need Kawhi Leonard in order to succeed. His presence is not just necessary, it is absolutely critical to this team's success. His impact on the game goes far beyond what shows up in the box score. Paul George needs to play more consistently, and they've got to build some sort of chemistry as a team or they'll be in the shadow of the Lakers for the rest of eternity. So with that, I'll leave y'all with something I created while researching for this video. A chart of some of the best NBA players of all time and the worst losses of their careers. Now pay close attention, because some of these numbers may just surprise you. Enjoy, and as always, until next time.
Whoa, hold on. Charles Barkley, Kevin Durant, 52 points. Paul George, Kobe, 48. Karl Malone, 46. Shaq, 45. Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Garnett, 44. 42.
Gotcha, bitch.
Alex the GOAT Caruso. Hey, man. Yep, that's gonna do it. Shout out to JxmyHighroller. It was a great video. Appreciate all the content. Make sure y'all go leave a like on his. And without further ado, that's it. Peace.